My 3 most wanted firmware updates for the EOS R5.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Vasco. Hopefully you're all having amazing creative days. Today I'm going to talk about 3 things I would like to see in the next round of firmware updates on the EOS R5. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, stick around. All right, here we go. So this thing right here that you're seeing in the background, this is a newer 42-inch beauty dish, they call it, but it's more of a octabox or a light diffuser than anything else. But I'm going to be reviewing that in a future video, so if that's something you're interested in, definitely subscribe to the channel. But for now, let's talk about this. This is the bad boy right here. This is the EOS R5, and I love this camera. Canon has done a great job with the firmware that they have supplied us with so far, but there are still a few little glitches and things that I would like to see updated. I'm going to talk about the 3 things I would like to see updated in the firmware in the next round of firmware updates. And if you have any suggestions for Canon, leave them down in the comments below, and we can talk about it. We can talk about things we'd like to see in the firmware. So let's get started. All right, so first thing I would like to see on the EOS R5 updated is the set shutter speed range menu setting. So there's a really cool menu setting where you can set the maximum and minimum shutter speed of your camera. And it's great because let's say you're shooting photos and you're at a wedding and you don't want to drop below 1/100th of a second. You know, sometimes you accidentally hit the tiles or roll, or you're not paying attention, or things happen fast. So you want to set your shutter speed at 1/100th of a second at its slowest, so you'll always get a sharp shot. So if you accidentally go down to like 1/30th of a second, you know, you get a blurry shot at that point, especially handheld with an 85 like this. But the thing is, the Canon menu is kind of split in 2. You have a photo mode and you have a video mode. So whatever settings you have set for video, when you're in video mode, you're ready to roll, you're ready to make videos, and when whatever settings you have for photo mode, you're ready to roll, and they're different. But for whatever reason, the set shutter speed range crosses over on both. So if you set it to a minimum shutter speed of 1/100th of a second for photo, when you go into video, you can't drop down to a shutter speed of 50 if you're shooting at 24 frames a second. So I ran into this issue a few times at weddings because, like I said, I like to limit my shutter speed to 1/100th of a second so I get nice crisp shots, don't accidentally shoot at 30th of a second. But when I want to go to shoot video, I can't drop down to 50 frames per second because, or I mean a shutter speed of 50 because I'm shooting at 24 because that limitation. So that's one of the things I would like to see fixed up. It's not a huge issue, but for me, I know I've shot weddings and then I drop my shutter speed to 50th of a second to shoot video, and then I forget to set it back and I'm shooting photo and I'm accidentally rolling this, trying to get the right exposure. I'm not paying attention to the number, and lo and behold, here I am shooting a portrait with an 85mm at 50th of a second, and it's blurry. But thank God, the R5, 45 megapixels, if you take a kind of sort of slightly blurry shot and you shrink it down to, you know, web size, it sharpens up pretty good. But in any case, that's one of the things I would like to see fixed on the camera. And number 2, it's a very simple fix. Watch this. I will demonstrate right here. You're at a wedding or shooting an event and you got to change lenses. So let's start with the camera on. You can see the sensor right there. I turn it off, and it takes some time to turn off. And that's the issue, right? If you're at a wedding, you're shooting an event, it's a live event, you don't have time to like turn it off, wait 2 seconds and switch the lens. I mean, you can shoot it, you know, 1/100th of a second. Why doesn't the shutter turn off immediately as soon as you hit the off button on the camera? So I would like to see a firmware update on the R5 where as soon as you hit the off button, the shutter comes down within like, you know, 1/100th of a second, just right away. As soon as the camera turns off, shut down the shutter. I can quickly switch lenses, because that's a great feature to have on the camera. I've got to really, you know, admit that this is one of my favorite new innovations with cameras, because when you're shooting in a dusty wedding hall or an event, or you're outside and, you know, shooting in a dry, dusty area or whatever, when that shutter comes down, it protects your sensor from getting dust. And that is a lifesaver, because I'm telling you, if you get dust on your sensor at the beginning of a wedding and then you spend, I don't know how many hours editing out that same dust spot in all your photos for the rest of the wedding day, that totally sucks. So it's great that the shutter comes down. I love that. I just wish it came down faster, because I just want to like switch lenses, go quick, you know, and I don't want to have to wait 2-3 seconds for that shutter to come down. All right, next. All right, final thing, number 3. And this is kind of on my wish list. I hope Canon does this at some point, and it's the 29-minute record limit on this camera. I get it. In 4K 60, 4K 120, 4K HQ, you can't have a record limit, unlimited record limit, because the camera's gonna overheat and you don't wanna melt everything inside, and I get it. But what about like regular 4K? Can we get a 1 hour? Just a 1 hour record limit. That would be so much better than 30 minutes. Because there's so many times when I'm filming something on YouTube or a client's talking, I'm doing a talking head interview, and it's just like, I've got to take my phone, I've got to put a 30-minute timer on it, and as soon as it hits like 28 minutes, I've got to be like, okay, stop. We're gonna just hit the record button off and on. Okay, continue. And it just kind of breaks that whole process, you know? And other camera brands don't have that limitation. So I would love it if just in, let's say, 4K, just in regular 4K mode, not HQ, not, you know, high speed or anything like that, just regular 4K, 24 frames, 50 frames, that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, I would love to see at least one 4K recording mode go up to a 1 hour record limit, because that would be so much handier. I'm tired of always having to turn off or stop recording and start recording again. So that's it, and hopefully we see some of those implementations in the next round of firmware updates on the R5. If you want to know how to update your firmware, there's a video right there. Check it out. Click on the link. It's a quick little tutorial on how to update it. But that's it for me. Peace out. See you guys in the next video.